Earlier this week, the New England Patriots extended Nick Caserio. Now, I don't really care about the Patriots. We're not here to talk about the Patriots. We're here to talk about how this affects the Texans. But before we do that, I just want to say happy Valentine's Day to all you beautiful people out there, and even happy Valentine's Day to you, you ugly mother effers. And I just want to remind you guys that tomorrow, all the Valentine's Day candy and stuff is going to be on sale. So even if you don't have a Valentine's Day date or anything like that, then you can always go to Kroger or Walmart the day after Valentine's Day and buy cheap candy. But anyways, Nick Caserio. So like I said, he signed an extension with the Patriots, so that means he's no longer coming to Houston. Now, if you're a Bill O'Brien supporter for whatever reason, I don't know why in the world you would be a Bill O'Brien supporter, but everyone has their own opinions, whatever. But if you're a Bill O'Brien supporter, then you should be devastated by this news, because it means that Bill O'Brien's days are numbered. So if you're one of those guys, like about 95% of the fan base that hates Bill O'Brien, that thinks Bill O'Brien's the devil, that thinks Bill O'Brien is Hugh Jackson and Jim Tomsula combined, then you should be popping champagne, because this is setting up everything for Bill O'Brien to get fired after the season. And I know, there's going to be some people, Cal McNair's not going to fire Bill O'Brien, blah, 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 blah. You're going to make up all these excuses because you like to be negative. Okay, I get it. You're probably going to say, Cal McNair just gave Bill O'Brien all this power. He made him GM. There's no way he's going to fire him. And that's where you're wrong. Very, very wrong. What actually happened is Cal McNair put it all on Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien is the GM. Bill O'Brien's the head coach. So now Bill O'Brien can't say, well, Rick Smith didn't draft the guy that I wanted. Oh, well, Brian Gaine didn't sign the free agents that I wanted. Now it's like, he's the GM, so Bill O'Brien can't be like, well, GM Bill O'Brien didn't sign the guy that I wanted, because he's Bill O'Brien, obviously. So it's all on O'Brien now. There is no one for him to blame, no one for him to hide behind. So there's a very, very good chance this is Bill O'Brien's last season as the Texans coach. And the only thing that could save Bill O'Brien is if he goes to the AFC Championship game. Now, personally, and I've said this many, many times this offseason already, I don't think he can do that. See, I don't know why, but a lot of you guys seem to think I'm a Bill O'Brien supporter. I am not a Bill O'Brien supporter. Like I've said many times, I am a realist. I just speak it how it is. Like, just because I think Bill O'Brien should be gone doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and make 42 videos talking mess about Bill O'Brien. That's boring, it's repetitive, and, it's not fun. And I'm not going to make up these fake things about Bill O'Brien. Like, oh, Bill O'Brien's some power-hungry, egotistical Bostonian that just wants all this power and he's going to do all this and that. Like, I'm not going to make stuff up. I'm going to just call it how it is. And personally, I think the biggest issue with Bill O'Brien is that we've seen his ceiling. Look, a lot of you guys think Bill O'Brien is Hugh Jackson and Jim Tomsula, or like one of these garbage, like bottom tier, completely trash coaches. I don't think he is. I think he's average. I think he's the Whitney Merciless of coaches. But he's average. He's good enough to get us to the playoffs, but that's about it. I don't think Bill O'Brien is good enough to get us to the Super Bowl. And that's just how I feel about him. That's why I think we have to move on from Bill O'Brien, because the Texans are no longer a let's make the playoffs team. No, like, maybe that was okay back in 2010, 2011, 2012. But right now, like, the Texans are past just making the playoffs. The Texans have to take that next step and become a Super Bowl team. And Bill O'Brien, he's not that guy. He is not that guy. And I don't think he's going to prove me wrong, because I just think we've hit the ceiling with Bill O'Brien. And in my opinion, the only thing that could have changed that was if Bill O'Brien got Nick Caserio to come and help him out, because as you all know, Nick Caserio is like pretty much the GM over there in New England. Even though he doesn't have the title of GM, he's the GM. He just has like another name. I forgot what he's called, but he's pretty much the GM. He handles all the front office stuff. Not only that, he's also involved with the game planning. And in my opinion, one of the biggest issues with Bill O'Brien is his inconsistent game planning. Look back to last year. New England, the Atlanta game, the Kansas City game, the Chargers game. Bill O'Brien came up with some beautiful game plans, perfectly executed, and he beat his opponents pretty convincingly. And then he had games like the Carolina game, the Denver game, the Baltimore game. Games where the game plan was garbage from the get-go and like nothing really got going. So like, he knows how to game plan. That's the frustrating part. He knows how to game plan because we've seen it. But for whatever reason, he can't do it on a consistent basis. Now, if Nick Caserio would have came over, then Nick Caserio would have helped him game plan, and maybe the game planning would have been more consistent, meaning more wins, more playoff success. But now that that's out of the window, it's going to be more of the same next season. Yeah, we might beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead in the regular season. We'll probably beat the Patriots and, have some nice signature wins and get into the playoffs. But once we get into the playoffs, we all know what's going down. We're going to lose in the first or second round, because that is Bill O'Brien's ceiling. He's not going to get better than that. And like I said, now that Caserio's gone, like, the odds of Bill O'Brien being gone are extremely high, because I do not see Cal McNair keeping Bill O'Brien after another first or second round playoff loss. And honestly, regular season success means absolutely nothing. Like, we could go 13-3, 14-2, 15-1, 16-0, have a first round bye, but if we lose in the divisional round of the playoffs again, coming off the bye week, Bill O'Brien should still be fired. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is what happens in the playoffs. Texans, they're no longer just this regular season team. Oh, let's hope for 9-7 and maybe we can make the playoffs. No, we're a playoff team, and we need to be a Super Bowl team. Now, if you're like me, a realist that really don't care about Bill O'Brien, all I care about is winning. If you're one of those guys, then unfortunately, next season, I hate to say it like this, but it's technically a lost season. Why? Well, because Bill O'Brien's a head coach. He didn't get Nick Caserio to hopefully elevate him. So now we know how next season is going to end way before the season even started. Like, yeah, it's essentially a lost season. The only thing that can save Bill O'Brien is Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson, improves tremendously next season, I 100% believe Deshaun Watson can carry Bill O'Brien to the Super Bowl. Now, obviously, short term, that's good. The Texans won a Super Bowl because Deshaun Watson carried Bill O'Brien. But long term, that's not good. Not good at all, because then we'd end up like the Packers. Early on in Rodgers' career, he carried Mike McCarthy's garbage ass to a Super Bowl, and Mike McCarthy ended up staying in Green Bay like 6 years too many. Like, in my opinion, Mike McCarthy's always been trash, but, since Rodgers carried him to a Super Bowl, and he got to stay there longer than he really should have, and I think if Deshaun Watson were to do the same with Bill O'Brien this upcoming season, then Bill O'Brien would be in Houston because of Deshaun Watson. Like, he would be here way longer than he really should have, because winning a Super Bowl obviously wins the coaches like a few more years on the team. And sometimes, once a coach wins a Super Bowl, it's hard to move on from him because, hey, he won a Super Bowl for us. And I'm not sure if I want to be put in a situation where we win a Super Bowl next season because of Deshaun Watson, and then we're stuck with Bill O'Brien for 6 more years, I don't want to be in that situation. I want to win 40 Super Bowls with Deshaun Watson, not just one and then waste the rest of his career with Bill O'Brien. But who knows how things will turn out. But unfortunately, I do think next season is essentially a lost season in a way. Like, yeah, we're going to make the playoffs. Yeah, there's going to be some awesome plays. But ultimately, we know how it ends. So, yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about this whole Nick Caserio thing. It kind of set things up for us next season. Like, you probably don't even have to watch next season. Like, you already know how it's going to end. So I'm still going to watch, though. Got to watch Watson and John Weeks. But, yeah. That's all I really have for you guys for today. Comment down below how you feel about this and how you think it affects the Texans. And yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.